Hello there, welcome to the Bookshelf Lunchtime Live. Lunchtime Love there for a minute. I was taking my hand cue, as it were, from Tom, so it turned into a bit of a joke. I fought the law of one. We're here till God knows when, as long as you want, essentially, but we're talking about lots of things today. I'm going to be telling you about, a lot of people say, I don't listen to the Bookshelf because I don't read. You do read, so we'll talk to you in a minute, and I'm going to give you 3 recommendations of short books to get you back on the reading bike or the horse or the bus. Is that okay? So we'll do that in a second. I went to see Hamnet. I want to talk to you about that. I've finished Pluribus, all 9 episodes of it. I want to talk to you about that. If you've got thoughts on any of the things I'm saying or talking about, lash them in the comments and I'll try and share them in. We were inundated with comments last week, so much so that I'm going to kind of start again a bit today with some of the comments on last week. If you missed last week, by the way, I'm going to be talking about cookery books from Ireland. Long story. If you follow on Instagram, you'll know that I've been doing a bit of baking over the last 2 weeks. Stay with us. That sounds really boring. I actually bore myself just saying that sentence, so I understand if you're going, no thanks, but it gets better. Now, on other subjects, I also want to talk to you about the subject matter last week, which was give up reading after 50 pages. Not everyone agreed with it. Most people did. A lot of people said that they had great teachers who said the same thing. A lot of people who had, say, dyslexia said this is great. And some people with ADHD said, yeah, this is great to be validated in such a way. So oh God, nearly poked my eyes out. Okay, Sarah said, I was thought the 100 rule was 100 pages minus your age as a rule of thumb for how long to stick with it. Jack says, I disagree with that rule. Some pages are a struggle, but some books are a struggle, but breaking through gives such a great sense of satisfaction and a much deeper appreciation. Ulysses isn't a fun read, he says, but finishing it is incredible. Jack, you are a patient man, and that's where we differ. And I think that's what we're going to talk about Pluribus in a second as well, and indeed short books and reading generally. Some people watch certain programs and films, and they have the mind, the eye, and the temperament of like a bird watcher or something. They're just able for it. They like the long, drawn-out pauses and scenes and so forth. I don't have the patience for it. You do, so fair play to you, and you break on through to the other side. Michelle McDonough, who may well be our friend Michelle McDonough, great writer. It is. It's great. So, well, super writer, Michelle. I hope you're listening in today or tuning in. So true about that. Too many great books out there to force yourself to read the ones you're not enjoying. Funny enough, I broke the rule on a TV show recently where I kept ploughing on. We'll talk about that later too. Another called Gazing Blue Eyes says, I hardly ever DNF a book. Now there's an expression my friend in Goldsboro Books, David Headley, wrote in a post the other day. Lots of people have DNF books on their list. Did not finish. I didn't realise that. Apparently it could be used for Formula 1. That's another subject that I never understand. Not that I don't like it. I just don't understand it. I hardly ever finish a book like that. I find it hard to do. I like the 50-page rule. I'm going to implement this going forward. Yes. Vic's Daily Chaos says, I started doing your 50-page rule and it worked for me. And last year I learned that if I'm struggling with a book, I get rid of it, whereas I would have felt guilty about not finishing it. It's great. Today I went to buy new runners because I do a little bit of running, 5K. Stay with me. That's boring too. But just to say, I needed new ones because the other ones were a bit run out. I said to the guy in the shop, can you repurpose these? Do you recycle? He says, well, actually there's a place up the road and they give runners, yours are in great nick but they're just a bit run out, and they give them to people who might need a pair of runners. And so I thought that's pretty good, eco-friendly. I like that. Same with books. If they're 50 pages and you've got this book and you didn't rent it or borrow it, pass it on to a local bookshop that needs it, or a library or what have you. It's always a good thing to do. I agree with the 50-page rule. I stopped reading after having kids because it felt like a chore. Now I only read what I enjoy. Yes, I remember it's not homework. It's supposed to be enjoyable. Well said. Somebody put a comment in as well saying that they had experienced a bereavement, couldn't read for ages and ages and ages, and then found a Maeve Binchy book, got into that, and then got slowly but surely back on the bus. That's kind of what we're talking about later on, is books that for people who've stopped reading or just haven't read for ages and ages. Mel says that this is going to be my new rule, 50 pages to grip my interest, or I'm out. I'm done suffering through a badly written book or just subject matter that's not for you. On it goes. I'll do 1 or 2 more and then we'll move on. Our friends in Buy Irish says we'll need to watch this a few times. Looking forward to the new Liz Nugent book. I finished it last weekend. You will not be disappointed. It is terrific. If you interview her, will you ask her for a follow-up to Unravelling Oliver? Myself and my book club all wanted the perspective of the other characters. It's a great idea, and she would appreciate that suggestion. Enjoying the show. Looking forward to Douglas Stewart's new book. I never read Shuggie Bain. Apparently it's brilliant. People say it's great. And your 50-page recommendation, I sometimes only give it 10 pages. Favourite book from last year was The River is Waiting, but it was a hard read. Okay, already they're coming in, and we'll have... sorry, is that somebody saying I'm in maths class? What do we do with that? I mean, should we not be telling... No! But do you remember the kind of headphones up the sleeve when you were like, what are you doing? Not just scratching my head. Just scratch my head. You're in maths class. Well, I mean, look, if I was in maths class, I would be watching this because I've no interest in maths. So I understand where you're coming from. This, if I was your barrister and you were called to the principal's office, and by the way, call me if this happens, because I will come in and represent you. I will say, this person, I don't know what their name is. It's a funny, well, don't blame. We'll hide your blushes. This person, Your Honour, /principal, /Prime Minister, I say to you, this person is not interested in maths and is listening to a show about literature. So, I mean, it's a bit spoofy, but we'll get there. So in other words, this person is being educated in a different way by a different person rather than in this way by that person. I'm confused myself now, talking through my hat. Good afternoon from Abu Dhabi. Wonderful. From a palm tree. I love this podcast, Ryan. Appreciate your honest reviews. I'm not going to sell you a pup here. This is the deal. If I like a book, you'll know about it. If I don't like a book, it won't feature on the show. But I'm not going to act out of my way to say a book is terrible most of the time. Similarly with TV and with movies, even with magazines. Empire magazine, what a great magazine. Gives you a monthly look at the movies. I've been getting it since, would you believe, Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon came out. Cape Fear around the same time, once a month. Now magazines are about, like, it's a tenner for a magazine. It's just a magazine. And then so the print is getting smaller, / I'm getting blinder. Mary Green says, I used to never read, but now I'm hooked on Lucinda Riley's books. Gripping stuff, loving her writing. Roger says, 3/4 of the way through Ulysses. I am dyslexic, is that what they're saying? I'm 3/4 of the way through Ulysses. Oh my God, my brain is melting. Why are you doing it to yourself? What's next for Sinead says, I'm a dyslexic English teacher. And I teach French. I know it makes no sense. But the Kindle with open dyslexic font was a game changer for me. I read 2 or 3 books a week. Give it a try. Also, really worried about students not reading. Leaving cert vocab and critical thinking has declined so much since I started. So you know what? I used to think I'd love to be a teacher. History particularly, maybe English. And now I think the AI thing must be such a curse for teachers. Imagine trying to, and then just, ChatGPT, all of that. Bit of a horror show. But let's get down to the business of what I was going to say initially, which is if you think you're not a reader, but you like listening to stories about books or us just shooting the breeze about books and stuff like that, think again. Because if you go to a restaurant, if you go to McDonald's, if you get a bus, you're always reading. You're constantly reading ads, things. You have to sign papers. You have to do something. You have to read a text, read an email. That's reading. So you are a reader. What about books? Why would you bother with books? Well, largely because you look at screens the whole time. First thing you probably do in the morning, reach for your phone all day long. I'm guilty. I'm not judging. I do it myself. I can't stand it. That's why I love books, because it makes me put the phone down. So if you're watching this thinking, I haven't read a book for ages, tune in. Here are 3 books I'm going to recommend that are really short and really not only easy to read, and that's not patronizing, it's just meant to be encouraging. They are so interesting as stories. So I'll begin with The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. His name is Jean-Dominique Bauby. And you have to say it like that when you're in the bookshop. Bauby. Otherwise they won't know what you're talking about. Now, you can get this wherever you get you, but just remember The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. It's so thin and so straightforward. If I could give you in a nutshell, this guy was very successful, high-flying in the fashion world. And then one day he suffers this incident and he gets locked-in syndrome. True story. So he's locked inside his body. He can't communicate anymore. And he was having like the time of his life. So what does he do? He writes his story, a book about his life. How? He's got locked in. Well, he blinks the story. Blink once for A, blink twice for B, blink, blink, blink. And a book comes out after, you can imagine how long that took. The thing I take from this book, apart from the fact of resilience and extraordinary tenacity, is he talks at one stage about shaving. Now, anyone who shaves, whether it's a leg or a chin, it's actually kind of a chore for people some of the time. I personally like shaving in the morning. But he describes how much he misses the feel of the foam on the chin and the blade hitting the skin. And he said, what I would do to have that feeling again. That simple quotidian task that you would just love to be able to do that we take for granted. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, pick it up if you want a quick read. Also dazzle your friends in the pub and say, yeah, I read The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. It sounds pretty impressive. Second book, All Quiet on the Western Front. What a great book. The author is Erich Marie Remarque. I may be saying that incorrectly, but look it up anyway. Made into 3 different movies, as far as I can tell. Black and white back in the day. Colour version starring John Boy from the Waltons back in probably the late 70s, early 80s. And then the most recent one from about 3 years ago, made by a German filmmaker, which is one of the most stunning films I've ever seen. It's on Netflix. Please watch it. You need to be in the whole of your health. It's gritty, it's tough, but it's the Western Front. What did you expect? But All Quiet on the Western Front is essentially an anti-war book, World War One. It takes you down the trenches. It makes you want to go to bed and say, how lucky am I to have a duvet and a pillow? Like, is that one of those sort of books because it's so mucky and gruesome? But it's just a wonderful book. It's tiny and yet huge impact. Finally, Stasiland. I know there's a theme here, war and fellas and so on, but I'll take yours. Claire Keegan, anything by Claire Keegan. Short, impactful, beautiful. But Stasiland by Anna Funder it's a fascinating book from about 15 years ago, I'd say. And it's just a Berlin Wall comes down and they go in to find to the Stasi. The Stasi were the secret police who used to take everyone's neighbour was telling on everyone else. And they have all the documents from that time and they were shredded and they put them all together again and they find out who was ratting who out. It's an extraordinary piece of kind of modern history, but really well written and really, again, short. There's 3 books. Will you go for it? As I say, Diving Bell and the Butterfly, All Quiet on the Western Front, Stasiland. That's it. Okay. Shall we take some comments? They're coming in thick and fast. All right. Lily Bloom, florist. Hi from Wexford. Currently creating beautiful flowers for some lucky people today. You've just reminded me. I don't have fresh flowers. I must get some. I love buying flowers. I get them all the time. We had a great florist, Joe, the florist up the road. Closed down. Breaks my heart. I know, but there's one nearby and I'll do that. I should grow some, but there's nothing happening at the moment in the garden. Sean says, hello from Roscommon. Love your podcast. What's your favourite Beatles song? No! They're all my favourite children. I can't. Look, I do have an answer for this and it's a bit of a fudge. It depends on the day of the week. It depends on the mood. It depends on when I was going to get ready to present the Late Late Show, whatever, in the dressing room, I'd put on Helter Skelter because it just like it's just got that. It just wants you, boom, it gets you going. On a quieter day, you might pick something like For No One if you're feeling a bit melancholic. I love, crikey, I'd be here all day. Oh Darling is a great bit of rock and roll. I like the Shouty Paul songs, Sgt. Pepper's. Shouty Paul, where his voice kind of goes. I love that. Got to Get You Into My Life, Good Day Sunshine. They're just happy Beatles songs as well. Got to Get You Into My Life, I just think it was a really happy love song. It's about marijuana. Because he just fell in love with the, Yeah. Now, you could ask me the question next week. Are we here next week? We're kind of just riffing here for a moment. Good afternoon from Spain. Viva España. Love the bookshelf. Thank you, Reed Whelan. Macy. Ryan, loving the live show. Excuse me. I started your 25 list. The Names was phenomenal. I keep banging on about Florence Knapp's book, The Names, from last year's. It's great. Liv Tucker from Watford. Is that our old friend, Liv? How are you? And it's great to see you. I'll see you in London soon. I'm over there next week and then I'm over and coming and going the whole time. But it's great to have you, Liv. Tricia says, I thought I was the only one who couldn't concentrate on reading after a bereavement. My brother passed away almost 4 years ago. I'm still struggling to get back into reading. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear about your brother. And secondly, there's nothing wrong with not reading. You're just still in grief mode, and that is going to be take you a while. And someday, somewhere along the way, this is what one of our other friends who got in touch was saying, that just this particular book landed and it was the right book. So take your time, it'll happen, and you'll find it's lovely. I always recommend for what I call the adult brain, when things are just gone bit heavy and crazy, I always recommend Louise Penny. Can I recommend that to you? Louise Penny, Canada's Finest. It's called, it's the Gamache series, Go With Still Life. It's her first book. If you like it, I think it'll get you back into the zone. They're easy, but not stupid. They're complicated, but not prohibitively so. And they're beautifully written. The woman writes about a croissant the way Serge Gainsbourg wrote about cigarettes. Don't know where that came from, but you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's keep going. Who we got here? Nuala, reading The Diamond Eye, finding it hard going, but my gut has to apply the 50-page idea. I'll just say it one more time. If you're not, there's so many more books we could get into, so get rid of it. Margaret says, good afternoon from UCC. Oh, I love UCC. I was there. They gave me something nice there a couple of years ago, and it's a beautiful concourse. You've got in UCC, what have you got there? You have great facilities. Got a Harry Potter Society. I was there. Slithering, sliding my way through that. We're on your lunch break. Read The Nothing Man recently. Didn't want to leave it down. Love that. Currently reading The Hidden Girl by Lucinda Riley. I've read Lucinda Riley. I haven't read that one. And thank you for that. Mags Powell says, you're in mighty form. Yeah, you know what that is. Coffee. No, the Long Mile Club. God, I was going to say the mile. You know where I was going with that. You guys are divils. The Long Mile High Club says, I formed a book club 16 years. Sorry, I couldn't resist. It's just 16 years ago. And I think I've read 2 of the books by the other members. What are amazing. Someday I'll finish one. So they're in a club for 16 years. I've read 2 of the books by the other members. I don't quite understand that.
Maybe the other members have read them.
Okay. We'll talk about Pluribus in a second. If you're watching anything that I should be watching, please tell me. You were brilliant last week with recommendations, so keep them coming. Now, what else have I got for you? I promised you I'd give you a quick review of Hamnet. I went to see Hamnet in the IFI the other day. Beautiful cinema, the IFI. Universal Pictures were putting on a showing, and we went along, bought popcorn. Well, actually, Claire had popcorn and a bottle of water, the Glamour. And she said, you don't want any? And I said, no, I'm fine. And she came back with hers and said, do you want some? I said, I want exactly what you have now. And she went and got it. Then we got into our seats and they had complimentary popcorn and water everywhere. So anyway, Hamnet, I was just a bit about, Now, what have we got? Hamnet. Hamnet is based on the Maggie O'Farrell book of the same name. And it's about William Shakespeare and his wife, who have 3 children, and they are played, that is to say, William and his wife Agnes, or Anne, played by Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley, respectively. Now, if you don't know, Jessie Buckley won a Golden Globe on Sunday night, and I couldn't have been. Were we all not? It was a touch of the Stephen Roach in the yellow jersey, touch of the Italian 90s. We get very proud in Ireland when one of our own does. I've interviewed Jessie several times in the Late Show. Worth YouTubing, by the way. She can sing. She's a singer. That's how she came to the attention. She auditioned for the Andrew Lloyd Webber Oliver Twist talent show that Graham Norton was hosting. And then she did. She came on and sang a few songs for us. But she's a dote with the most extraordinary smile I think I've ever seen in somebody. It's just a very different smile. It's quirky and I love it. Anyway, well done to her. Paul Mescal's in it. Paul Mescal is just another league. I think we're into kind of Richard Harris territory with in terms of I think he's high achieving actor type thing. Anyway, so they're both in it and they are excellent in it. Funny enough, I didn't cry, even though I did cry when I went to see A Christmas Carol before Christmas, which I just thought was very moving. But I was a bit disturbed by the fact that I didn't get too moved by the emotion, even though it was very emotionally deep. However, all around me, it was. Okay, so that's people sniffling and applying tissues to their eyes. Yeah, all around me there was a pandemic. Everyone was really sick. The Bang 11 up off the place. No, they were. What do you? I got it now. Anyway, so Hamnet is it's a beautiful film. What I'd say to you is it's very sad. So just in case you think it's Shakespeare's drama, it's really sad. It's also quite slow moving. It's quite pastoral. There's a lot of nature and eagles. So it's very beautiful to look at. But just in case you're expecting something that goes ta 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 ta, that's not it. That's Marty Supreme. Okay, so if depending on where you are in the world, that's the deal with that. So well done to everyone on Hamnet. She will win an Oscar, and if she doesn't, I will bring a hat in made of something that I baked earlier, which brings me neatly to my baking thing that I'm on at the moment. I'm on a full baking roll. Cooking time with Ryan. Okay, so here's can I this is my if I may, my beef with this whole thing is I know that was terrible, but I mean no, one in the oven. No, the point I'm making is here. I have what's called a nursery palate. That is to say, I like the most basic food. I like the food that kids. I look at kids' menus and go, I wish I could order off that. I just don't like the fuss of it. That's what it is. It's quite ignorant. I'm envious of people who can eat everything. I don't eat fish. I don't eat it's awful. It's so limited. I have a sweet tooth, and I like to bake. I've always liked to bake. Weirdly, I don't know where it came from, but I like it. Am I any good? Not really. But just in the last couple of weeks, I started baking a little bit, and I made some caramel squares. And they were so good. And because I'm so needy, I had to put it up on Instagram. And people really enjoyed looking at it and go, that's nice. No, but were they? No. Okay. So people were just going, that's pathetic. Go back to your books. And then I made tea brack. which I nearly finished. I had 2 more slices today. It's delicious. So I had to stew the tea and the. Oh God, I'm boring myself. I'm not wearing. No, I'm not. Don't wear an apron. I mean, I probably should, but I don't. It's not because I'm toxic man doesn't wear an apron. Apron, me? No, I shouldn't think so. No. So that's great. But I was working off these home economic books because the cookbooks. Everybody, and I've interviewed them all. Nigella, all of you, Mary Berry, lovely people. They're just not for me. They're too complicated. Whereas home economics books tell it as it is. Look, there's no beating that. That is a lasagna that looks like it was made in someone's kitchen. Not in Nigella's kitchen, not in Gordon's kitchen, not in Jamie's kitchen. It looks like it was made in your mammy's kitchen. I love these books. They're real. And the desserts are great. They even tell you, like, there's even sections like the Ryan Tuberty section, how to make a banana boat. You know, it's that. And I kind of went mad on this. I posted this one last night. Deirdre Madden, all about home cooking. She was a teacher in Loretto School in Dalkey, and her 2 daughters reissued this book when Deirdre passed away, sadly, and they gave funding to the Irish Cancer Society as a result. I posted this last night. Now, when I post something, you get a bit of response. It's nice, it's cute, it's sweet, it's informative often. But this one, my Insta went into meltdown. People were just going, oh, that book. And it was quite divisive because some people went, oh, PTSD. I had a teacher who was, but then we had loads of people saying, I still have it. I love it. It's covered in flour and egg. And it was the most important book in my life. But I work off these. And what happens for me is I'll make something and then somebody goes, do you know what that needs? It needs lemon zest. I don't want lemon zest. If it was lemon zest, I would. Do you know what that needs? We need to put walnuts in it. I don't want walnuts. I just want what it said. I just wanted to do the thing. Do you know what that needs? I tell you what it needs is you not telling me what it needs. Because I know what it needs. I made it. It said it in the thing. The woman told me what to do. And she said, just leave it at that. So don't send any, do you know what that needs? Because I have that. That's the recipe. And I put that in, and that's what it is. I know that sounds ungrateful, but it's just, and I know you're just being helped, not you personally, but just people just want to get involved. But yeah, I'm a disaster. And someday I'll do a cookbook. It's going to be the People's Cookbook.
All right, Jeremy.
Come on, and you will all have to buy one because it's going to be cooking for the people, by the people, and eaten by the people. Oh my God, I'm losing it. Ryan, my 10-year-old son. This is from Jerry, has dyslexia, okay? And I believe I have as well, and I hated reading. But now I love it. How did that happen? And I'm trying to encourage my son to read everything. So, as I say to him, keep at it. Well, that's great advice, Jerry. And talk about leading by example. If you have dyslexia and you're still reading, what a joy. You're brilliant adding there. Jen says, hi from Boston. Oh, good to hear you on the air again. Well, Boston. That brings me to, here we go. This brings me to a rant. So Liz Newton's new book, which I don't really want to talk too much about because it's not out yet. I want to wait till it comes out. But it's based in Boston and Dublin. And that'll become apparent when you read it. So I was enjoying the Boston stuff, and there's a lot of talk about Southie and all this. And I thought, I think I'll watch a Boston movie. Now, The Departed is a brilliant film, right? The Departed. But I didn't want to watch that again because I watched it fairly recently, so I knew it back to. So didn't I watch Black Mass? Now, when you hit my age, you can watch films again because it was so long since you watched it the first time. So that's one of the benefits of getting a little older. So I thought, I'll watch Black Mass. I wonder why I didn't watch it again. And within about 5 minutes, now you talk about the 50-page rule. Movies-wise, 15 minutes. That's tough, isn't it? It's harsh, but you know what it is? There's so much. There's so many more things to watch that in streaming. In the old days, if I went to Extravision and put the video in and it's 15 minutes, I go, well, I've paid for it, so I'm going to stick around for the whole thing. But now you kind of go, well, I've got a subscription to Netflix and to Amazon and to Apple and all the other stuff that I have subscriptions for that I've forgotten until you dig it out by accident. That happened to me during the week. I said, what? What? I said, no, thanks. Anyway, that's worth doing, by the way, a prune decluttering of what you've signed on for that you've forgotten that you've signed on for. That's for another day. So we'll go to Black Mass, 10 minutes in. Actually, I'd say about 2.5 minutes in. Johnny Depp. I'm sorry, lads. Come on. Can we name anything that you love him in? That you love him in? Exactly. Pirates of the Caribbean. That wasn't... But you were 10. Yeah. But you probably have a nostalgic thing about that, do you? That you being. Were you fun then, Tom? No, that's. Oh my God! Why am I even saying that's me? The nicest man in the world.
Including Edward Scissorhands, even though it's a weird film.
But you know what the problem with, and again, if he was sitting here, he'd say, "Yeah, and what have you done?" I get that, but it's just like Edward Scissorhands. Like I'm so weird. Okay, the Edward Scissorhands fine. It's more than fine. It's really good, and I like Tim Burton. Tim Burton for the most part. What it is it's bad makeup. If you look at Johnny Depp in Black Mass, there's so much eyeliner on him, and he's got a bald thing going on, and he just looks like quite a bad transition year fancy dress costume for in 1989. Or Irish college fancy dress, and he's borrowed one of the girls' eyeliner and lashed that on, And no, I was gone. I left it. I went to a Scandi noir thing it was recommended in the Sunday Times culture section, called Land of Sin. 5 episodes, about 40 minutes each. That's all you need in life. Okay, let's go. That's from Jen. Jackie. Hi from Jackie and Ismay on honeymoon in Lanzarote. Wow. And you're listening into us on your honeymoon. Have you not better things to do? Wah, 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 wah. But maybe that can be exhausting too. So what I would say is, there's only so much hours in the day. So I would say to you, go, if you're in Playa Blanca, go to the flagship and ask for Hato. It's spelled Jato. Hato. He's my pal over there. And tell him I sent you. Its crack is great. He's one of the nicest people you ever meet. And if you're not in Playa Blanca, go to Playa Blanca and say hello to Hato in the flagship. Ryan from Emma. I read The Correspondent after your recommendation last week and I loved it. Funny, I heard Kate McCann and Stig Abel talking about that on Times Radio this morning. And she said that Kate had given it to 2 or 3 people and they loved it. I saw it in the shop and I picked it up in the shop and I looked at it and it's all emails. I just thought, I don't want to read emails constantly as a book. So that put me off it. But I'll take your word for it. May I recommend Susie Dent's book, Guilty by Definition, says Teresa. Teresa, you don't have to recommend it. I read it as soon as it came out. I'm a big fan of Susie Dent. You know Susie Dent? She does the word corner, the thing countdown. That book is great fun. I mean, that comes with a great recommendation. Guilty by Definition, Susie Dent, based in Oxford, where they're putting together a dictionary. So you can imagine, then there's a crime, and there's poison pen letters written, and it's all about words and etymology. Oh, it's great. That's a great idea, Teresa. Where else are we going? Anne-Marie says, just finished reading Always Remember by Charlie. I never know how to say his name. Charlie McKeesey or McKeesey. Lovely, gentle and thoughtful, provoking read. Thank you. Joyce said, just finished Broken Country. Great read. Thank you. Here's another one from Cong in County Mayo. Sorry, how many people have the freedom of Cong in this room? Aidan, Tom. Okay, so I have the freedom of Cong and I'm allowed to walk my ducks along there for free. Do you want to drop that? That's not a name drop. That's a fact drop. It's a fact drop.
It's a brag and it's not humble.
No, it's so true. It's a brag and it's not humble. I love that. It's just an old school brag.
Benefits?
You can walk your ducks through do you know what they've made the quiet man there? And I've got a handprint right beside
cool.
myself and Daniel O'Donnell. Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, a read that stays with you. Oh, I'm delighted you say that, especially in today's environment. Prophet Song by Paul Lynch, which won the Booker Prize 3 years ago, is one of the best books I've ever read. And essentially it imagines Ireland in about 5 years' time and a mad fascist government has come into office. But not that mad, it's all feasible. It's dystopia, it's near time dystopia. And it focuses particularly on this mother who's kind of watching the society crumble. And then the ending. I mean, we're talking Planet of the Apes, on the beach with the Statue of Liberty ending and the jaw drop, which brings me neatly to the book I posted about last night. I plucked it off my shelf. That's why it's yellowed from the sun. I had to go back to our old friend. It's weirdly printed, but that's what it is. 1984 by George Orwell. I was in the bookshop the other day and I started reading it in the bookshop just because I've read it before, but I was much younger. And I was reading going, oh God, I forgot how good this was and is. So I'm going to read that again. And how many pages is this? It's only 325. That's not bad. And look at that for if you're heading into town to the pub or whatever. That'll go nicely in a good coat. You know what I mean? So yeah. That's 1984 George Orwell. Highly recommended. Delia Smith is for you. So do you reckon? I don't know. They complicate everything. see, the home economics, and by the way, a lot of home economic teachers follow on Instagram, I know, after this. But the home economics have it right. Delia, they all complicate things. That's the problem. Is this way of telling us that tea cakes by Tubbs is en route, says Ivan. Tea cakes are probably quite complicated, Ivan, to make. So I'm not sure, but it's a good title. I'll take that.
Better one above it.
Sandra, love the baking talk. New podcast, please. Books and bakes. Oh, that's good. That's good too. But I see, I think the baking conversation is quite finite. I think you could get quite boring unless you did something interesting in it. You could couple up with a chef like Richard Corrigan. I had lovely chats with him recently in London in his place. Went for dinner there. And he was going, what am I going to feed you? I said, well, Claire said you can feed her all the good stuff and just get me something with meat in it. That's it. And so I got a steak. You know what I got? Even he was laughing at me. He's known me for 20 years, come in and out. That's why, it's just, I just want normal stuff. Elsewhere, where are we going?
From the top.
From the top, sorry. Okay, thank you, Aidan. Jesse Buckley. Liz Newton, listening today. Liz, you were aforementioned. Adore Jesse Buckley. Globe, well deserved. Well said. And great to hear from you. Julie says, I cried with Hamnet. Brilliant film. Jesse, brilliant. Paul as well as the child actor. Yeah, the child actors, well worth keeping an eye out for. They're really good. Sometimes child actors can be annoying and distractingly bad. These guys are great, really good. Cora says, I love that you're going old school on the cookbooks, but that home economics book sends shivers down my spine. I'm going to do it again. You seem to be quite disturbed by this book, but it's not the book, it's the teachers you had. Now, and then there's another one that says, Hot Buns Catering says, oh yeah, that's Delia. Another says, I have the exact same cookbook you posted. I keep it for more sentimental reasons. It has 90s scribbles from my sisters and my mum. I couldn't send the pic, but enjoy the food. Thank you. Colette says, agree regarding home ec. All in the cooking, 40 years old, but it all makes sense. Yeah, I agree. And our old pal, Mark from Scarbeida. Mark, you're as loyal as they come. How are you? I've enjoyed Pluribus, but I worry it may push the lost button and never get anywhere. Let me talk about Pluribus for a minute, and then I'll get out of your hair. Because Pluribus is, okay, if you don't know, it's by the creators of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Yeah, Vince Gilligan. And it's how do you describe it? So it's first of all, it's 9 episodes. So I find that a bit heartbreaking. I love a 6-episode season. 8 I'll take if it's brilliant, but 9. Now, but 9 is 9. Well, the Germans know all about that. 9. I mean, that's it. But the point I'm making is that it stars Ray Seahorn. What a pro. And she is, she's one of about 12 people on the earth who haven't been infected by some mad what? Hive mind. Tom, you need to get over here. Hive mind. So, but we don't see aliens. There's no sort of, bad CGI lizards running around. They just all the humanity has become a hive mind. So that they all speak in pronouns that are like we, because obviously they're just one mind. But some of them didn't get hive-minded. And she's one. How does she survive? And that is essentially there's 9 episodes of that. So Tom just watched the first one last night. You're in. I was in on the first, in on the second. Lost me on the third. Kept me back for the 4th and 5th. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th should have been one half an episode. Now, that's what I say. Now, this will be controversial because people will say, how dare you? Because you're a flibberty gibbet, which I am. I don't have to spell it, but I know I am one. And the point I'm making there is that, what am I making? Oh yeah, I got it. Some people, my friend Owen, who we worked with across in Virgin, Owen was brilliant because he'd watch it with a certain eye that says, I'm enjoying the cinematography. I think I mentioned this before, the cinematography, the acting. Whereas I'm waiting for plot. I want plot and lots of it. And that's the way it is. So if you need plots and lots of it, I don't think Pluribus is for you. But if you need something beautiful to look at and you're a thoughtful person, a meditative person, somebody who will plow through Ulysses just because you've time and inclination, well, then you're going to enjoy it. How about that? So I think, so in other words, what I'm saying about Pluribus is I think it's on me, not on them. Okay, bask in my generosity of spirit, Tom. I mean, would you go with that? You're going to stick with it.
Tell us how you really feel.
No, I just want. And Aidan's recommending Good Night and Good Luck, which was a movie back in the day and a great book by a journalist.
Yeah,
but it's
there's a stage play of it.
George Clooney
ran on Broadway for months.
Yeah.
And they filmed
They
it.
filmed it. They're doing this a lot now with plays and operas and stuff, and they're putting them in cinemas. But now streaming, as they did with Hamilton, which is how we got to see that first time around. And you're saying that's well worth a look. Really? And did you feel like you were watching a play in a theatre or watching a TV show?
I did, but that's because we work in this
Yeah.
business.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, I'm interested.
Check it out.
Yeah. I'm skeptical, but I'm interested.
Good way to be.
Okay, let's go. What else we got? Ryan, Cat here in Chapel Lizard. Lovely to hear you back. I'm listening here with my senior puppy, Wooly. I presume there's a selection of dogs. And Wooly is there. He's a pit. Is it the pit? Oh, no, sorry. He's not pit. That was a pit bull. The Pit. We're bouncing. The Pit is incredible. Noah Weil. Each episode is an hour in A&E. Now, can we watch The Pit? Can you check that, lads? Is The Pit? She's obviously watching it somewhere. God knows where. But I don't know if it's available to watch yet, because I was reading a review of The Pit. And essentially, the review I read said it's like 24. Do you remember the Kiefer Sutherland? 24, but real time in a hospital. And it's meant to be brilliant. I think he won a Golden Globe on Monday. Episode 1, where can we stream it? This is the next big question. Do you find yourself Google searching a lot of where can I stream? Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
like,
same here.
Some you can get on.
What happened to the RT guide? It was so easy then. But the point is, The Pit. You're brilliant. Thank you, Kat.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime might do it. Okay. Oh, that's helpful. Why is it? I just signed off for Amazon Prime the other because it said $8.99 a month. I didn't even know it was that much. I didn't know what I was doing, and it just came up as a thing going. Did you know you're paying $8.99? I said, what? I didn't watch anything on Amazon. As soon as you sign off something comes on, and you sign on again. So it's Lanigan's Ball. God damn it. Here's another one. I'm on page 50 of Mary Cassidy's Deadly Evidence, and I'm unsure if I like it. Should I give up or give it another few pages? I haven't read it, but I believe it's really good. So I don't know what to say to you other than I'm going to suggest give it another 10. Give another 10 and it might just be enough to get you over the line. Otherwise, beat it. I borrowed a line from Good Will Hunting for the book. Is this from Liz's book? And I read a lot of Dennis Lehane when I was writing The Truth About Ruby Cooper. That's Liz Nugent's new book. Excellent. Well, you got the whole Boston thing. You got me thinking about it too. So I'm just so excited to talk about that. And we will talk. Another says you need to read something by Dennis Lehane. There it is. You'll start reading in a Boston accent. I love that. I've been in Boston. Boston reminded me of kind of like a supersized Dublin in a strange way. It's a nice city. I liked it. And the Kennedy Library, obviously, I wanted to go and visit and did a talk there with PJ Lynch. You remember, I wrote a book about JFK 100 years ago, and then we did a kids version of it with PJ Lynch, the illustrator. So we did a talk at the centre, and that was a bit of a dream come true. Yeah. It was real nice. And everyone talks like Mayor Quimby, which is great. Now, Sinead says, hey, Ryan, have you read Barbara Kingsolver? All her work is so good. Do you know what, Sinead? I have never read Barbara Kingsolver, and I don't know why. That's the truth of it. Just started His and Herself. Is it His and Herself? That keeps coming up on Netflix. It's a kind of crime. Is anyone watching that? It's very good, says our correspondent here.
Came up for me last night, but then I went and watched The Bear on another stream.
Are you loving the shouting bear?
2 episodes in.
Of season 1. And
yeah,
are you in? Are you hooked in?
I think so, yeah.
Think so. That's not very emphatic.
After episode 1 and episode 2, I was like, oh man, reaching.
Are you in good form?
Am I in good form?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then you're okay. If you're in bad form, you shouldn't watch The Bear because it's a lot of shouting and chaos. It's like Uncut Gems. Everyone's shouting at each other. So it's just...
Good advice.
Yeah. Just there was a brilliant thing. You know, Caitlin Moran or Caitlin Moran, depending on how you call her. Great journalist. And she did a brilliant piece on Sunday in the style section, I think, at the Times. And it was about herself and her husband on the couch watching, picking a movie. And the last film he picked, and they nearly got divorced over it, was the Banshees of Inisherin, which it divides opinion. So this time around, they watched the film, and it's the one, a couple of friends of mine had said to watch it. I nearly watched it on Saturday night. I said, will we watch? And then we read the blurb and went, no, it was too sad. It was called Train Dreams on Netflix. Not ringing a bell. They're pushing it a lot. So it's a frontiersman, happily married with a wife and kids. He's dropping, knocking down the forest. It's kind of, that lovely, apparently it's all very sweet. But then it gets dark and people are dying and it's sad and he's grieving and so she watched it and said that, like, she lost now 2 hours of her life. But he made a really good point. They should, they put on warnings like this. You'll be triggered if there's this, there's that, and the other, smoking, drinking, and all the other bad stuff, and some good stuff. But she said they should put sad warnings on films. I think it's a brilliant idea.
An emotional.
Just going, like I said to you there, if you're in a bad form or if you're just sad or just life isn't beautiful, it should say sad. It's sad. It should like two little eyebrows going, don't. You know, like an emoji. Don't watch this. Not now, bear. Not now, bear. Okay, so that's what I'd say. I think it's a very good point. The finest hotel in Kabul. Is that by Lise Doucette? Is that the one you're talking about? Which apparently I did read some of because I was interviewing her. Couldn't read the whole thing because I had about 55 books to read. It is her, yeah. Well, she's a wonderful journalist. I think she's one of the best journalists currently of her generation. I think she's that good. She's also from Canada, friend of Louise Penny, aforementioned, and that's a great suggestion for people who want to get into a little bit of history. Okay, we're nearly done. What's on the clock? There it is, 1:40. Well, not too bad. Okay, other than to say some more comments that came in. You've got, Snoop says, you've Desert Island Discs. You've got one book. Oh, this is like the Beatles question again. Yeah, I don't like that game. There's one book that I really liked. I'd like to go back to. I very rarely read a book twice. 1984 is one, but I'm not bringing that to Desert Island. Is Bill Bryson. Do you like Bill Bryson? Yeah, you'd like Bill Bryson, Hayden, I think. But Bill Bryson did a book called 1 Year. And it was about the year, you love this, by the way, 1927. I might just quick Google check to make sure. And in that year in America, he just studies, it tells you all about the things that happened in that year. Turns out it was an extraordinary year and amazing things happened. And it's written really beautifully. So I'd nearly consider that. I could think of something else, but I'm not going to go do that for now. What I have in my head at the moment, my friend Doc keeps sending me clips of gangster movies, Goodfellas, Casino, anything with the Joe Pesci being completely mental, and but it's got me now. I want to watch Goodfellas again. I really want to watch it again, and I want to watch The Wolf of Wall Street again. So, and I don't watch movies again often, but I just think I might now. What else we got? Somebody else wants to know: was Stranger Things season 5 a letdown? Now I know young people. I own a couple of them, and the word back is one in particular. One guy who's keen on it gave it a 1.5 star review and said it's rubbish. I've gone on to Letterboxd, lads.
Yeah, I follow it.
You follow it? Are they okay? The reviews okay? Well, yeah. Oh yeah, that's not very convenient. Okay, I'll have to work on that. So
hang on, I'm moving the mic over. People want to hear more of Tom.
Oh, they want to hear Tom's take on things. Sorry, Tom. Tom
has the mic, everybody.
Tom, I'm on Letterboxd. So Letterboxd is essentially when you watch a film, it's probably like Strava for movie fans. No, that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. I got that's just a little bit of approval on it in life. Actually, a lot. So it's essentially Letterboxd. You watch a movie, you rate it, and it lets you do half stars. Well done, Letterboxd. It's brilliant. So I'm really tough with my stars. Very few will get 5. And if there's Muppets involved, you're guaranteed probably a 5. Goodfellas involved gets a 5. It's a Wonderful Life gets a 5. But then there's other movies that everyone goes, it's amazing, and it'll get 2 or 2.5 or 3. Anyway, my friend gave Stranger Things, and he's 24 or 25, gave Stranger Things 1.5 stars, and he's a big fan. So you've got to be a Stranger Things fan.
Yeah, watched it.
Do you love all the episodes to date, all the seasons to date?
I'm invested in the story.
Did you gobble up season 5 yet?
Very, very much so.
And give me your star rating out of 5.
Probably 2.
What happened? This is like Game of Thrones. What happens to these people? They get to the final season and go, meltdown.
Just fell short.
Fell short?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I've no interest in Stranger Things, but I'm sorry
Did you
to
hear what, right after the finale, everyone thought it was completely fake and that they were going to release an entire new finale.
They thought
Spoiler alert, everyone.
no, it's okay. He didn't give away any plot.
yeah,
but
they thought
just-
there was going to be this entirely new, made up, like there was amount of theories online.
So was it because it was so bad that they went, this can't be real?
People kept putting out.
Imagine
like,
how
plot
offensive that
holes.
must be to the script writer and the whole. They're going, oh, you guys. That's never going to be real. Okay, that's funny. Thank you, Tom, for a little update on that. Although I believe the stage version of Stranger Things is amazing. Emma says, can we have an update on the Bookshelf Live? Lads, do you want to come and see us live in the Pavilion Theatre in Dunleary? We might do one just to have a feel for it. We've put we've crunched the numbers. We've looked into it. We do have a provisional date, which is quite interesting. It's a lovely theatre by the sea. Pints afterwards in Aidan's house. Cans. Bag of cans. Love a bag of cans.
Your house is nearer.
It is nearer, but it wouldn't be able to cope with the 17 people. It's a small crowd, but yeah, it looks like we're looking into March, end of March for a Bookshelf Live. Can't confirm it yet, but we're very excited about it, and we'd love to see it in real life. We'd be doing a lot of this on the Bookshelf Live. It won't just be books. It'll be a bit of everything as well. Jen is watching from Singapore. Is Singapore amazing or kind of controlled? Do you know what I mean? Is it like, because I think I always hear that Singapore is clean, structured.
Yeah.
Have you been to Singapore?
Very strict.
Strict.
In that sense.
Okay,
Rules.
so
Like, I'd say if you threw gum on the ground, you could just.
what if you walk down Singapore, one of the main streets, not drunk, but with a bag of cans in your hand and just having the crack? Would you be told to quieten
I'm
down?
guessing that's illegal, but I don't know. It's
Okay.
been 15 years since I was there.
Okay. And when you were deported, did you find that was that troublesome for you for your career, Aidan? No, here we are.
Not until
About now.
found out about it.
When the Ground Shifts is a debut by Phil Finnan. Was my first read of the year even. Well-written book by a witty writer, knows the subject matter, really relevant in our current time. Thank you, When the Ground Shifts. I haven't heard of it, but appreciate it. Heidi, have you read Janice Hallett? Really interesting crime writer. Her latest, The Killer Question, is superb. Can't wait for Ruby Cooper. Well, it's coming and you won't be disappointed. Now, do you know what? Janice Hallett's books are all epistolary, isn't that how they describe it? It's all letters and emails and stuff. And it doesn't work for me for some reason, but thank you for saying it. Train Dreams is fab. Two of my very best friends loved Train Dreams as well, so it's just not for everyone. And again, it's about the frame of mind as it was. One more, quiz or travel show, which would you rather present? Oh, yeah. What about a travel show with a bit of bookishness in it? Like, I could bring you to the best bookshops in Paris, London, New York, and there's a couple other ones in Spain, and let's say Germany. Somewhere else kind of interesting. Greenland, before it becomes American. Before it becomes the 51st state. Let's do that. Okay. I know. Iceland. We'll go over to Ragnar. And Reykjavik. Beautiful. Okay, how about travel and books together as a show? Okay, I'm in. I'll do that. I'll find some time. I'd be delighted. Stranger Things, says another, had a great ending. What ending would satisfy everyone? Well, that's one in favour of Stranger Things. You, my pal, both saying it was rubbish. So that's two. It's a majority against Stranger Things at this point. Miriam says the Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I wasn't mad about it, but I know it's enormously popular and I'm glad it did something for you, which is great. Bill Bryson, wonderful, diverse author, says Mrs. H. From A Walk in the Woods, laugh out loud, to a short history of nearly everything, a must-read author. Well, I agree with that. I'll tell you what we'll do. I see Yvonne saying Birmingham has an amazing bookshop. Bath has an amazing bookshop. Let's do beautiful bookshops next week. We'll put that on the list because I'm sure everyone has one. But I think we should leave it there for today because we are out the door. And we've got lots on this afternoon. It's busy. How's that for you? Are you okay with that, listening in, tuning in today? I hope you liked it. We will try and put up as much mentions, the books that I've mentioned, particularly the three. I think they were the most important ones. 3 books that you might get you back on the reading bus that you haven't read yet. Okay, you can follow me on Instagram, Insta during the week. We might do another one. Will we do one more with feeling? One more Lunchtime Live next Wednesday, next Tuesday even? At one. 3 feels right, and then we'll either abandon it, or if there's demand or interest, we'll have a think about it. In the meantime, back to work with you, lads. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.